The crystal chandeliers of the mansion cast lights that danced across marble floors as I watched my 10-year-old daughter, Emma, navigate through the crowds of my sister Victoria's so-called elite friends. The birthday party was exactly what I had expected: excessive, ostentatious, and designed to remind everyone of Victoria's assumed superiority within our family hierarchy. Emma wore her favorite blue dress, the one we had picked out together at Target just last month. It wasn't designer, but she loved it. That had always been enough for me. She clutched a small gift bag containing the bracelet she'd saved 3 months of allowance to buy. "Aunt Victoria will love it, Mom," Emma had told me in the car. "It has her birthstone." I hadn't the heart to tell her that Victoria would likely toss it aside without a second glance. Some lessons children need to learn for themselves. Victoria held court near the grand staircase, encircled by her usual admirers. Her dress probably cost more than most people's monthly rent. She'd married Marcus Chin 5 years ago, old money, investment banking, the whole spectacle. Since then, she had transformed from my occasionally annoying sister into someone I barely recognized. "There's the poor relation," I overheard one of Victoria's friends whisper as Emma approached with her gift. "Victoria's sister, the one who works at that bank." "How charitable of Victoria to include them," another replied. Emma's steps faltered, but she pressed forward. I stayed back, allowing her to handle this moment alone. She was stronger than people gave her credit for. "Happy birthday, Aunt Victoria," Emma said, offering the gift bag with both hands. Victoria barely glanced down. "Oh, how sweet. Put it on that table with the others." She gestured vaguely toward a corner already overflowing with lavish packages. "I picked it out myself," Emma tried again. "That's lovely, dear," Victoria said, turning back to her conversation without missing a beat. "As I was saying, Marcus and I are considering the Hampton property for summer." I watched my daughter's face fall. She set the gift down carefully, then retreated to where I stood near the refreshment table. "She's busy, Mom," Emma said quietly. "Lots of guests." "I know, sweetheart." The party continued around us in waves of forced elegance. Waiters in crisp white jackets circulated with champagne and hors d'oeuvres that cost more per bite than a decent meal. Caviar on toast points, truffle-infused delicacies, tiny pastries that looked like art installations. Victoria's friends laughed too loudly at jokes that weren't funny and name-dropped shamelessly. Vacation homes in Aspen, yacht clubs in Monaco, private schools in Switzerland. My mother fluttered about, playing the proud parent, soaking up reflected glory. She'd worn her best dress, reserved for special occasions, and kept steering conversations toward Victoria's accomplishments. My daughter's home this and my son-in-law's connections that. It was painful to watch. I sipped my champagne, admittedly excellent, and observed the social theater. These weren't Victoria's friends in any real sense. They were her status props, collected like the art on her walls. Expensive, impressive, and ultimately hollow. Emma stayed close to me, overwhelmed by the crowd. A few of Victoria's friends' children were there, but they ignored Emma completely. One girl, maybe 12, looked at Emma's dress with undisguised contempt before turning away. Emma pretended not to notice, but I saw her hand smooth down the fabric self-consciously. Then came the moment I'd been dreading. Victoria clinked her glass, demanding attention. "Thank you all for coming to celebrate with me. It means the world to have my closest friends here in our home." She paused for effect. "And of course, family, even the less fortunate members." Polite laughter rippled through the crowd. My jaw tightened. "Now we've made quite a mess, haven't we?" Victoria continued, gesturing at the aftermath of gift opening. Torn wrapping paper, ribbons, empty plates scattered across tables. "I'm sure the catering staff will handle most of it." Her gaze landed on Emma. "Sweet Emma, darling, you can help the servants clean up. It'll be good practice for you." The room went silent. Every eye turned to my daughter. Emma's face flushed red. She looked at me, confusion and hurt written across her features. Something cold and sharp crystallized in my chest. Practice, I said, my voice cutting through the silence. Practice for what exactly, Victoria? Oh, Sarah, don't be sensitive. Victoria waved a dismissive hand. I just thought, well, given your circumstances, it's good for children to learn the value of hard work. God knows Emma won't be inheriting much. More uncomfortable laughter. My mother grabbed my arm. Sarah, please don't make a scene. I gently removed her hand and took a step forward. You're right, Victoria. Emma should absolutely understand the value of hard work. I've made sure of that. I paused, letting the room's attention focus completely on me. But I'm curious about something. When exactly were you planning to tell everyone here that your house is being foreclosed on tomorrow? Victoria's smirk froze. What? The foreclosure, I repeated calmly. Marcus's firm collapsed 3 months ago, didn't it? The SEC investigation, the frozen assets, the criminal charges pending. I work in loan management at First National Bank, Victoria. I see these files every day. The color drained from her face. You don't know what you're talking about. Really? Should I pull up the paperwork? You're 4 months behind on the mortgage. The bank sent final notice 2 weeks ago. Eviction is scheduled for 9 a.m. tomorrow. I took out my phone. I can show everyone the file if you'd like. It's all there. The missed payments, the defaulted home equity line. The second mortgage you took out to maintain this lifestyle. Marcus pushed through the crowd, his face red. That's confidential information. You can't. It's public record once foreclosure proceedings begin, I interrupted. Anyone can look it up at the county clerk's office. I'm just saving your guests the trip. Sarah, stop this right now, my mother hissed. But I wasn't finished. Do you want to know the really interesting part? I looked directly at Victoria. For the past 2 years, every single time you've called Mom crying about money troubles, she's called me. Every time you needed help making a payment, every time Marcus's business setbacks threatened your lifestyle, Mom has begged me to help. Victoria's mouth opened, but no sound came out. And I did help, I continued. I pulled strings at the bank, restructured your loans, bought you extensions. I spent hours on the phone with creditors negotiating on your behalf. Do you know why the foreclosure took this long? Because I delayed it. Multiple times. The guests were pulling out their phones now, probably searching the public records themselves. That's not true, Victoria whispered. Marcus handles our finances. He would have told me. Would he? I glanced at Marcus, whose face had gone from red to gray. Or has he been hiding the extent of your financial disaster because he's too proud to admit he lost everything in that Ponzi scheme investment, the one he convinced 6 of his clients to join? Clients who are now suing him for malpractice. A woman near the front gasped. The Chin scandal. That's your husband. Sarah, you're ruining everything, my mother pleaded. No, Mom. Victoria ruined it when she decided to humiliate my daughter at her own birthday party. I turned back to my sister. You wanted Emma to help the servants clean? Here's the thing. After tomorrow you won't have servants. You won't have this house. The bank is seizing everything that isn't protected by bankruptcy exemption, which Marcus conveniently forgot to file. We can fix this, Victoria said desperately. You work at the bank. You can stop it. You said you helped before. I did help before. Every single time you treated me like your inferior, while I was saving your financial life. Every time you made snide comments about my job, my house, my daughter's clothes. I helped because Mom begged me to, because I thought maybe you'd eventually realize that family means more than money. I walked over to Emma and placed my hand on her shoulder. But you just asked my daughter, your niece, to clean up after your party like she's hired help. In front of all these people. To teach her about hard work. Because we don't have your money. I shook my head. So no, Victoria. I'm not helping this time. The foreclosure proceeds tomorrow as scheduled. Please, Victoria's voice cracked. Where will we live? I don't know. Maybe you can rent an apartment with whatever money you have left. Maybe you'll have to move in with Mom. I shrug. Maybe you'll figure out what actual hard work looks like when you're job hunting without a trust fund to fall back on. Marcus stepped forward threateningly. You vindictive. Careful, I said coldly. I'm friends with several of the attorneys handling your clients' lawsuits. Say one more word and I'll make sure they know about every hidden asset, every offshore account, every shady transfer you've made in the last 6 months. He stopped moving. The silence in the room was deafening. Victoria's friends were already edging toward the exit, probably eager to spread the gossip. My mother looked like she might faint. You should leave, Victoria said quietly, tears streaming down her face. We're going, I agreed. Come on, Emma. My daughter picked up her unopened gift bag from the table, and we walked toward the door. Sarah, my mother called out. How could you do this to your own sister? I stopped and turned. How could I? Mom, I've been cleaning up Victoria's messes for years while she treated me like garbage. I gave her chance after chance, but she crossed the line tonight. I looked at my daughter. Nobody humiliates my child. Not even family. We left the mansion, soon to be someone else's mansion, and got into our sensible Honda Civic. Mom, Emma said as I started the car. Is Aunt Victoria really losing her house? Yes, sweetheart. Because Uncle Marcus made bad choices. Emma was quiet for a moment. Could you really have stopped it? I glanced at her. I could have delayed it again. Maybe bought them a few more months. But you're not going to. No. Partly because of what she said to you, I admit it. But mostly because she needed to learn that actions have consequences. That treating people badly catches up with you eventually. That family isn't about money or houses or status. It's about respect and love and being there for each other. Emma nodded slowly. Is Grandma mad at you? Probably. Will Aunt Victoria be okay? Eventually, she'll have to adjust to a different kind of life. But she'll survive. Sometimes losing everything is the only way people learn what really matters. We drove in silence for a while. Then Emma said, Mom. Yes. I'm glad we're not rich like Aunt Victoria. I smiled. Me too, baby. Me too. The next morning I received 3 phone calls. The first was from my mother screaming about family loyalty. The second was from Victoria begging for help. The third was from my boss at the bank, confirming the foreclosure had proceeded as scheduled. I deleted my mother's voicemail without listening to it all. I sent Victoria's call to voicemail. And I told my boss everything had been handled appropriately and by the book. Then I took Emma out for pancakes at our favorite diner. The one where we knew everyone's names and they knew ours, where the food was good and honest and no one cared what you wore or how much money you had. That evening, Emma brought her unopened gift to me. I still want to give this to Aunt Victoria someday, she said, when she's ready to apologize. I looked at my daughter with pride. That's very mature of you, sweetheart. You always say people deserve second chances, Emma reminded me. But they have to earn them first. Yes, I agreed. Yes, they do. I heard later that Victoria and Marcus moved into a 2-bedroom apartment across town. Marcus got a job at a mid-level firm, the only place that would hire him with his damaged reputation. Victoria started working retail, something she'd never done in her life. My mother didn't speak to me for 2 months. When she finally called, she didn't apologize, but her tone was different, quieter, more respectful. Victoria sent a text 6 months later. I'm sorry for everything. I understand if you can't forgive me. I didn't respond immediately. Some wounds take time to heal. But when Emma's 11th birthday came around, I sent Victoria an invitation to a small party at our house. Nothing fancy, just family and close friends, pizza and cake. She came. She brought a thoughtful gift. Nothing expensive, just a book Emma had mentioned wanting. She was quiet throughout the party, watching as Emma laughed with her friends, as I served food without any staff, as we celebrated simply and joyfully. As she was leaving, Victoria hugged me. "Thank you," she whispered. "For what?" "For teaching me what I should have learned a long time ago." She wiped her eyes. "I was so awful to you." To Emma. "I'm sorry." "I know," I said. "We'll get there. But it takes time." She nodded and left in her used Toyota, a far cry from the luxury cars she used to drive. Emma came up beside me as we watched Victoria drive away. "Do you think she really changed?" "I think losing everything gave her a chance to find out who she really is," I said. "Whether she changed or not is up to her. But at least now she has the opportunity." "That's good," Emma said. "Everyone deserves a chance to be better." I hugged my daughter close, grateful for her wisdom and kindness, qualities she'd learned not from wealth or status, but from understanding that true value comes from how you treat people, especially when you have nothing to gain. The mansion sold at auction. A tech entrepreneur bought it. Victoria and I slowly rebuilt our relationship, carefully, cautiously. My mother eventually admitted I'd been right, though it took her a long time to say it out loud. Emma grew up understanding that money can be lost, houses can be taken away, and status means nothing in the end. What matters is character, integrity, and never forgetting where you came from, or who helped you along the way. As for the bracelet Emma had bought, Victoria finally opened it a year later, on her next birthday. She cried when she saw it, put it on immediately, and has worn it every day since. Sometimes the hardest lessons are the most valuable ones. And sometimes the best gift you can give someone is the truth, even when it costs them.